All right, it's Bill here. Here's my thoughts on a 7-4 win for the Toronto Maple Leafs over the Nashville Predators. First off, let's talk about back-to-back situation. And to be fair to Nashville, it really wasn't fair to them because the Leafs haven't played hockey the whole season, so they should have been rested for this game. And Nashville had a game where they looked like they worked their butts off to beat Ottawa 4-1. So the Leafs looked the better team tonight. The Leafs started Caden Primo. My thoughts on Caden Primo, he's okay. He didn't do anything stupid. He didn't let in a really bad goal, but he wasn't really great either. Mid, I don't know. I guess that's what you want for a backup goalie, though we have a backup goalie named Joseph Woll, and we'd love to have him back as soon as we possibly can. But in the meantime, this kid seems like he's going to be whatever. Blah. He's going to do what he did tonight, which is fine, I guess. Although you have an .830 save percentage, that's not so bueno. No bueno. But whatever, he did all right tonight. Let's get into it. The Leafs got a lot of lucky breaks in the first period. I did think they dominated the play in the first period. And again, the second period, we'll get into that just a second. But the first period, I don't know what I'm seeing. Okay, let's go through. Definitely Joshua looked better tonight. There was some pressure. The third line is just atrocious in their own end. McMahon, Domi, and Robertson, goodness gracious, they are really bad in the defensive end. But when they get in the offensive end, they can do some stuff, and they did some stuff. I thought Matthews was unbelievably bad in the first period, that first line of... Now, here's one thing. Can I again, I don't want to be... Kid's 20. But I read about how Easton Cowan had, like, a great debut. Now, he got an assist tonight. It was a nice play. He made an assist. But what are we doing here? I swear to God, I watch a different game than most people. I think I put it on TSN tonight. Thank God it was TSN and not Sportsnet. Way better intermissions. But am I watching a different game? I got the wrong channel? Am I taking my DeLorean and I'm watching an old game or something? Because I'm not saying Cowan was bad. I'm not saying that at all. But he wasn't great. He was okay. Made a lot of defensive blunders in his end, the first game. But I'm hearing he's the next coming of Christ from the people watch the game. Well, okay, hold on a little bit. To me, Domi's got to be up top. Domi's not a centerman. You got to put Domi in the first line and see what happens. But again, there were a couple plays that Michelli made that weren't horrible in that first period. There was things you liked in the first period, and they got rewarded. The first one, tell me how Johnny Tag gets an assist when the guy hands it over. And Cowan deserved the assist on that one. He worked his butt off, knocked the defenseman off the puck. Joshua grabbed it, sent it back to McCabe. McCabe fires it. I think Nashville scored. So they scored 4 goals on the other net, but I think they scored 3 on their own net tonight. So it's not no good, but it looks like Jonathan Marchessault, if he didn't tip it, he certainly put a stick in the way of the goalie, and that's a bad goal. And it's 1-0, so you get a nice lucky break. And now the second one, who's this guy? Weisblatt. Whoa. For his first game in the NHL or whatever, he made an impression tonight. That's making an impression. See, that's like noticeable. Both ways, noticeable. Cheap shot. But he was noticeable, and he scored a goal on his own team, but really, I think that would have gone in anyways. But Nylander made a nice play at the blue line, straddled it over to Ekman-Larsson. I thought Ekman-Larsson was by far, not even close, the best player on the team for the Leafs tonight. You know what? I know I trash. And I'm going to trash in just a sec, so don't worry about it. I know they won the game. We've got a name for my friend Brandon Carlo, but you hold on a second. I even wrote a song for it, okay? Well, I didn't write a song. It just came in my head, and hopefully I remember whatever I was thinking about the lyrics. But it was inspired by the first goal scored by the Nashville Predators. But Ekman-Larsson and Benoit, I'll take them all day, twice on Tuesdays. Yeah, Benoit makes some mistakes. Yeah, Ekman-Larsson makes mistakes, but they play the game with sandpaper. They don't let guys sit in front of the net and have a blast like some other soft mother effers do on our team. So Ekman-Larsson had a great game tonight. He was chirping. He was sticking guys. He was getting in their grills. Perfect. Love that. That is what I want to see. And on top of that, he made a great play pass. If Weisblatt didn't tip it in, Michelli would have scored. But okay, so 2-0. Nashville scored both goals on themselves. Perfect. 2-0. You're going to the second period. You had a pretty good first period. And what did the Leafs do to start off the second? Suck. They stunk. They stunk horribly. Now, the first goal was scored by Michael McCarron. Wasn't he a first-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens? Going to be the next Owen Nolan? How'd that work out there, Montreal? But anyways, let's talk about this goal, please. I asked for a new name for colonoscopy colon, and you came through. You came through. Good names. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, not bad. But I'm not going to go that way because the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man had, if you remember Ghostbusters, he had a bit of an attitude to him. He was tall. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was tall. Definitely tall. But he was a mean dude. He didn't seem to... he didn't look like he was a nice guy, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I'm pretty sure he was attacking the Ghostbusters there, so... A little too mean, but I like it. It's on the way. But I heard it from a couple people in the comments. One of my wife's co-workers texted her, so I'm glad you watched the show. That's not a show. It's a show. What have I got? A show? No. My thoughts. But I'm glad you watched my thoughts and you texted my wife. And then my buddy Ian came up with it as well. Cottenelle Carlo. I like it. Now, it's even better because it flows off the tongue like Mitchie Boitano. It's pretty good. Cottenelle Carlo. But I put a song to this. Why you so soft? Why you so slow? Go back to Boston. Cottenelle Carlo. I got to try to sing a little faster. Why so slow? Screwed up. Let me try again. Why so soft? Why so slow? Go back to Boston. Cottenelle Carlo. Cottenelle Carlo it is. Well, Cottenelle Carlo got his ass handed to him by Michael McCarron in front of the net. Got dummied. Got thrown out of the way. And they got a goal. That's... Carlo and Really's night tonight, everybody. Oh, looking away from the camera again. Sorry. Cottenelle Carlo. Why so soft? Why so slow? Go back to Boston. Cottenelle Carlo. I'm screwing up a couple times. I'll get there, though. Carlo's night tonight. Yeah, Brandon Cottenelle Carlo report. 0, 0, 0. -1. Apparently he had 2 shots on net. Woo! 0 hits. A goddamn defenseman. And Riley's night tonight. 0 hits. That pair played 20 minutes of no-contact hockey playing defense in the NHL. Explanation, please. Riley was also -1 tonight. In a game you won 7-4. Yarncock, -2. Nick Waugh, -2. Yaggy. Not a great game there. Dakota Joshua, -1. I guess after he made that nice play in the first period, you forgot to play for the rest of the game. Good on him. Anyways, the first goal completely caused because Cottenelle Carlo got completely worked over in front of the net by a fourth-line bum who's tall, too, but he's a lot tougher. And then right after that, this Weisblatt kid outworks Chris Tanev. You don't see that happen very often. I didn't like Tanev's game tonight, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really like it a lot, but I like McCabe's wasn't bad, but Tanev just, he's steady, don't get me wrong, but when he makes like a mistake like this, it's glaring. But Weisblatt beats him off the puck and sends it out to, what's his name, Eric Walla. And it's 2. So they scored, 2 goals in 34 seconds? This 44 seconds. Sorry. I'm just going, here we go again. This is ridiculous. And then what happens next? Jonathan! With a goal. With the most talented goal you will ever see. This man is oozing talent. I will give him credit. He goes to the net. But there was a nice little give and go with Michelli and Ekman Larson with a nice give and go to Nylander. Shot. Roman Josi went to the Brandon Carlo school of taking defense. And Johnny T bangs it home to make it 3-2. And then nice play. It was Robertson, I think, got the assist, but it was Ekman Larson who started again. Bobby McMahon goes around, he shoots. I have no idea what Brady Shea is doing. Man, Nashville Predators, what did you do? Stamkos was just terrible. He's invisible. Marchessault's okay. I noticed Marchessault. I noticed Weisblatt a lot more than anybody else. I noticed Marchessault at least, and Brady Shea, and those are your big signings, and this is why you wondered why you're last place last year? I got it. Because McMahon made a nice play. He got some good speed, got the shot, got his rebound, and then tipped in by Brady Shea. So that's what. So the 4 goals that were scored by the Leafs, 3 were scored by the Nashville Predators, and they got 2 empty netters. So it's a lot of good breaks happening for the Leafs today. But anyways, they score. Bobby McMahon makes it 4-2. And then you go to the third, and there was the nice play. It was a nice play by Cowan at the blue line, feeds Austin Matthews, giving go with Matthew Nyes. That was a really nice goal. Make it 5-2. Then you get your empty netter, so you can get Johnny T an extra point, and you get Matthews an extra goal. You get Nylander an extra goal. Who gives a ass patootie? In between Nick Perbix, thank God he's not on the Lightning anymore, scores. And you got a final score of 7-4. Oh, I forgot the Roman Josi goal. The Roman Josi goal was kind of a shot. That's the one where Primo didn't look that great. At the end of the day, a couple of things I just want to highlight. How many Leaf power plays have there been this season? What, 7? Like 7 power plays. No, they're all. I think, did they score a power play goal tonight? No, they're still 0 for 7. You know how you get penalties? You actually work. You bang on the boards. You get the Leafs just. There was one penalty that should have happened on Matthews at the end, right before the OC goal. But the Leafs they're just not. I don't know what it is. They're just not competing for pucks at a level you need to draw penalties. They were better tonight. Again, I really liked Larson's game. I liked Benoit's game. I thought McCabe played pretty decently. The Riley and Carlo disgusting display again. This is unbelievable how bad they are. Fourth line was not great. Third line was okay, except if they're in the defensive zone. I thought Johnny T, Nylander, Michelli had a little bit more pep. I thought Matthews' line stunk for the first period, but they showed up in the second and third. So actually, second he wasn't playing that great either. The third period definitely. And the Leafs win 7-4. What can you say? Should be happy, but let's think about the schedule. We've had 2 games against the Red Wings, 1 game against the Montreal Canadiens at home, and 1 game against the Nashville Predators, and we have 4 points out of a possible 8. That's not good. They get the Rangers next, at home. They get Seattle at home. This is a pretty easy start to the schedule. I think they get Buffalo twice next week. You got to make some hay in the situations because you're going to start playing Tampa, Florida, Boston. You see how I didn't say Ottawa? You're still going to start to play Washington, Jersey. You got to make some hay at this time. So hopefully this is the start of some hay. Now you got a couple guys that are going to go, I got 3 goals in 4 games, or I got 2 goals in 4 games. You're going to start to get that feel going on, I guess. But again, what do you take out of a Nashville Predators win back-to-back? Certainly the Leafs seem to be, other than maybe about 8 minutes in that second period, I thought they were the better team. But it is what it is. I will talk to you Thursday to play the Rangers. I'm doing darts, so it'll be a late video, so I'll have to tape it and watch it when I get home. Cheers.